Hello, everybody. Welcome to our classroom. Today we have an amazing speaker. I'm so excited. We have that vegan lawyer, and her name is Patricia. Say hi, Patricia.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Katie, for having me on. I think this is going to be a really fun and productive discussion, perhaps with some debate.
Well, we have been blabbing behind the scenes here, just a mile a minute, because it turns out we have all kinds of interesting things in common.
So we do.
This is our first time meeting in real life. So just, it's great. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. We, it turns out, are both very interested in what's going on in politics and with what's going on with certain speakers that we both follow. And many of you who are watching will probably not like what we're about to say, because it turns out that many vegans absolutely hate these people, these different speakers, and we are fascinated with them. Would you like to tell us who we're talking about? Tell everybody.
Yeah, so we're talking about some of the more classical liberal, conservative leaning and conservative speakers like Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Jordan Peterson. So there's a bit of a mix there politically, but generally they're more conservative leaning, especially in our society. They'd definitely be considered very conservative.
Yes. Oh, I just lost you. Speak again. I just think I lost your sound for a sec.
Oh, what was the last thing you heard?
Okay. No, now it worked. Okay. It was for a second. Okay. Yeah. So let's go through them. Well, first of all, we're going to say that we are both ethical vegans. And for those of you who are just joining us, being an ethical vegan means that we don't eat, wear, or use animals because we just think it's wrong. And how long have you been vegan for?
About 6 years.
6 years. Okay. And so for me, it's coming up to 5. It will be 5 years in June, on June 27th. So the people that we are learning from or interested in have very strong opinions, more on the right. So that means conservative. I'm talking this way because some people that are watching are actually only teenagers and they come from different parts of the world. Could be Australia, could be Canada, the United States, England. And so for you guys, pay attention because you might not know what we're talking about. And other people who are actually interested in these kinds of things, feel free to ask us any questions about the type of people that we're going to be talking about. Now, we can maybe go through them one at a time if you don't mind, just to start. Maybe some people already know who these different speakers are. They're different YouTubers. And for some people that might be new, and we're going to talk about the context and especially interested in why the fuck aren't they vegan yet? That's what I want to know. Because they're so interesting in some other ways. They're very traditionalist, but what do you think? Let's go through them. Why don't you tell everybody, let's say you want to start with Candace Owens.
Sure. So yeah, Candace Owens is a Black American conservative commenter. She stands up a lot for race issues and a lot of the false narratives being pushed by the American left and liberal media. And she really strongly goes against this idea of victimhood and instilling victimhood in Black people. And I disagree with Candace a lot about things that aren't related to race, but with race, I agree with her 100% on. Like, if you can find me an argument of hers that isn't evidence-based and valid, like, I would really like to see it because I think she's a very intelligent speaker on race. And I think a lot of people have that issue with her because she doesn't identify as a victim, and that's what they want to see, so they can keep using it for political reasons when it comes to the Black demographic. So also next question, why is she not vegan?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Do you, so I think that Candace is 31 years old, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. She's in her 30s.
Early 30s. Yeah.
So for those of you who can just picture her, yeah, she has dark skin. She is actually married to a white British guy, and she has a brand new baby. And she became sort of more famous from doing a big rant on Facebook when George Floyd died. And she spoke out as a woman, as a Black woman, and said, look, I don't think that there's the type of racism that you guys are talking about here. And people were like, what? Because, of course, the narrative is we are all victims.
The racial one, yeah. There's zero evidence to show that the killing of George Floyd was racially motivated. None. There's zero evidence to show that Derek Chauvin was a racist, and she pointed that out. the data shows that it's not the case that white cops are going around murdering Black people at all. That's a false narrative, and that's been clarified by other Black thinkers like Coleman Hughes, Larry Elder, John McWhorter, and other Black academics in this area. It's a false narrative being pushed that white cops are going around cold-bloodedly murdering Black people, and that was one of the main narratives that she pushed against that drew me into her, because she was just stating facts about the world and not buying into victimhood as it was being pushed all the time.
Yeah, so that was interesting. When she came out and did that rant on Facebook, I was like, what? Who is this person? This is very interesting. And so let's go next to another person also outspoken. Now we're going to talk about the issue of pronouns. Now, the reason we're talking about these different people is because I find it interesting, like I said, that they are not vegan yet. So they have these ideas that are just different than what everybody else around me is talking about. All the vegans that I know, I listen, don't get me wrong. I'm Canadian, first of all, and I would not have voted for Trump. But that doesn't mean that every single thing that the conservatives do or the right wing do is wrong. I just don't buy that. And, it's pretty hard. I don't know any vegans who are not left wing. Like, I just don't know them. I haven't met them yet. You're like the first. So
there's a growing group of individuals who are not left wing who are vegan now. And I think, as myself and a few of my other activist friends be more outspoken about it, more and more people feel more comfortable saying, yeah, I'm not liberal or left as well. This is my view. I'm apolitical. I'm conservative. I'm left leaning, but I still find a lot of the things they say crazy. So it's becoming a bit better, I think, in terms of that. I think one of the problems is there's been decades of university and colleges that teach students a certain way, and they only get, especially the humanities and social sciences, which is what I'm in currently, they only get one side of the story. So if you're taught something like slavery, for example, you only get taught about the Atlantic slave trade, how white people treated Blacks, and you think it's almost like you only think white people have engaged in slavery when it was a universal institution. And so that's just one example, but we get taught all these things that set up these divisions, I guess, in society and make people think a certain way and make people think that conservatives are evil. And that's just not the case at all. If anything, it's like, conservatives are more correct and accurate on issues of social justice, for sure. Except for veganism, which they're both just retarded on.
Okay, yeah. So let me just comment here on Constantin. Thank you so much for this donation. And do you want to read the comment, please?
Oh, sure. Vegan since October 2020. After seeing your TikTok, I remember it clicking so hard. Oh my gosh, you're so right. Thank you so much. Can't wait for the album.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that so much. I always feel really good when somebody tells me that they became vegan because of me, and you are clearly a real animal rights activist. I have seen it in your posts, and it is really fantastic. So hopefully we will start to see you doing some YouTube videos at some point, and we'll have this domino effect where we help to save animals together. So yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about Ben Shapiro. Did you want to? Next one.
Sure, go for Ben Shapiro. So
we're going to do Jonathan Peterson.
Yeah, actually, I don't have any comments here yet for some reason. I'm not sure why I don't have any comments here, so I can't read them. So I don't know if I have to click somewhere here. But anyway, in the meantime, yeah, let's talk about Ben Shapiro. Go for it.
Yeah, so I've read some of his books. I watch his YouTube channel and things like that. My understanding is he's a Harvard graduate. He was a lawyer, and then he got into conservative politics. And he's just one of those people that isn't afraid to say things very bluntly. And sometimes he's a bit too partisan for me, like he's too much on the right with some issues. But for the most part, again, when it comes to issues of social justice, I usually think he's being pretty level-headed. And he's been marginalized a lot and slandered a lot in media. So if all you read is, if all you watch and read is CNN or something like that, you're going to think he's this, really evil guy. But when you actually read about his views, he's quite level-headed, I think. And he's been on, he's collaborated with people like Sam Harris and other people that would identify as more left-leaning or liberal, which shows that he's able to engage in discussion and debate. And he's not this like dictator that some people try to portray him as, or racist or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I actually did a video reviewing one of his videos, and I was so angry. I was so angry with him because he was just being mean on purpose. Like, he was just being a dick.
Okay.
Like, but it was,
what
you know what? It was, I don't know if you're maybe you're too young to know the song, but it's by John Lennon and it's called Imagine.
Oh, of course I know John Lennon. Come on.
Okay, so this is but the song is called Imagine, and there's nothing wrong with the lyrics. It's imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine there's no religion. And he sort of insinuated that because he's a Jewish guy, he's not afraid to admit it. He wears the little, I forget what the name of the hat is, but he's proud to be Jewish. And he says, if there's no religion, something like, I don't know, like the whole society will fall apart or something. And I was like, no, really like, I'm not religious. And, you know, this society is not going to fall apart because people still have hearts and conscience, and we're not going to be mean just, you know, because we're worried we're not going to go to heaven after we die.
Yeah, well, there's a fundamental disagreement there, I think.
Yeah, you're an atheist. Okay.
Yeah.
And right. So that's one thing that I mean, we can go through all of these different people. And also I want to touch on before we, I know we're kind of finished with Candace Owens, but I'm curious, what do you disagree with what she said? Before you say, I want to say something. The only thing that I remember, well, the thing that stands out, because I'm going to bring it back to veganism. She talked about the polar bears. She said, polar bears are mean. You know, they're dangerous. And I was like, but she talked about like wanting to shoot one or something. I was like, what? Like, why are you even bothering them? Leave them alone or something. And it was weird. Like, so I really didn't like that because I agree. Anyway, what is it about her that she said or that you disagreed with?
There's been so many, honestly. Like, I don't know her views inside out, but from what I gather and from what I've read, unless they were taken out of context, I would disagree with her on things like climate change, vaccinations.
Yes, climate change.
Veganism, obviously.
Wait, one thing at a time. Okay, because I'm taking notes here. Climate change. Why? What did Candace Owens say about vaccinations?
She's just made some pretty controversial tweets before. I don't know if her mind has changed since then. This was a couple of years ago. I don't know exactly, but kind of insinuating there might be harm when there wasn't evidence to show that there was.
Okay, so I'm
not sure what you're now.
Because I don't know you. So you're pro-vaccination. You believe in the
science? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll be
I just got my shot 2 days ago, by the way.
Yeah. And this anti-vaxxing is huge, and just a lack of understanding of science is a very big problem in the movement as well.
A lot of vegans tend to believe, well, not a lot. I don't want to say that. It's not true. A certain segment of people, actually everywhere in the left or the right, have these, like, believe in these conspiracy theories and that they're anti-vaxxers and things like that. And yeah, I think we need to look at science more often.
Yeah. I mean, there's a risk to taking the vaccination, but there's a risk to taking every single drug. There's a risk to walking out your door. You got to weigh it up and see if it's considered medically safe or not. Yeah, there's probably a lot more worse drugs you could be taking than vaccination. It's just it's not a pro evidence-based view of the world. But I'm not actually, I might retract the vaccination one from what she said, because I think she may have like clarified her views recently. But she's just said some things that just sounded a little bit off. But until I understand the view inside and out, I don't know if I'd be comfortable saying, I definitely disagree with her in this position. It just seems like she said things that I'd probably have a different position on when it comes to things like climate change and vaccinations. But and that's like wrong, I'm right kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate problem with the right, as I see it. And for kids who are watching, when we're talking about the right, we're talking about conservatives versus the left, which is liberal, and conservatives tend to have more conservative views on things. They believe in sort of the values of the past versus liberals who tend to be a little bit more, I don't know, willing to change or willing to look at different things.
Supposedly.
What?
Supposedly. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so you don't remember?
Oh, sorry, just one more thing about Candace. She just says occasionally cringy things about like gender, because I don't really care that much about whether someone wears a dress or whether someone wants a sex shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. I think people should just do what they want. And like individually, sure, there's issues if they have some kind of condition or if they're feel coerced into it or something like that. But as a general rule, I just think people should be able to do what they want with their bodies. And I think that's where some like a classical liberal position might differ from a conservative position, because I really don't give much.
I think yes, you're touching on. Yeah, sorry, but I remember in sort of fleeting that she said something about she sort of made fun about men who wanted to wear a skirt or something. And my position, again, you and I are just getting to know each other, but we really do seem to agree on all of these things. Like, I don't like, I'm going to quote you, I don't give a fuck what you wear. I just don't care. Like, I don't care if you're a man and you want to have your hair down to your bum and it's pink or purple. Like, it's up to you. I mean, I'm not going to say I necessarily like it, but I will fight for your right to wear and look the way that you want. And that's just, if a woman wants to have hairy armpits and shave her head, I don't know what, like, that's fine. It's all good.
And like, don't get me wrong, I find it cringy when people need to announce, like, I'm this, I'm that. But I also like when the people on the left do it with their sexuality or whatever. I just think it's, well, why do you have to, make such a big deal out of it? But then when conservatives react so strongly and just do video after video, like, oh, Ellen Page, and I find that cringy as well. It's like, there are so many better issues we could be talking about than this pronoun thing. You know what I mean? So it's, I get annoyed by both sides and I get criticized by both sides, and that's fine. Whatever.
Me too. Yeah. Okay. So we went over Candace and we were doing Ben Shapiro. And Ben, just for those of you who don't know, like I said, he identifies as Jewish, and he is married to a doctor. He's about, I don't know how old he is, 40 maybe? Late 30s, late 30s, 35, late.
I'd say mid-30s, early 40s maybe.
Yeah, something like that. And he's married to a doctor, and they have 3 children. And he has a show, if you ever want to look at it, it's called The Daily Wire or The Ben Shapiro Show. I don't know if he owns The Daily Wire. I think he does. But anyway, it's like some. And so if you're ever interested, you can watch part of the discussions that they have there, which are different from the narrative that you will hear from the left. It's something that is really, people just don't look at it. They have their Facebook. They look at the same views all the time. They don't listen to anybody new and different. And, these are the people who are constantly talking about trans rights and, how there's so much racism. And look, I agree there's racism. And I agree that trans need rights, but there's more out there to the world. Like, I find there's such a focus on these things. And Ben Shapiro is somebody who talks about all kinds of things, and some of them that we both agree with. So do you want to say anything else about Ben, that his views?
No, like, I just want to say when it comes to race, conservatives are usually like 99% correct in their analysis of what's happening versus what liberal or anyone else is saying, really. And even reasonable leftists I've spoken to agree with this. The ones that you can reason with and aren't totally brainwashed by media about what's happening with the race narrative.
I just want to say something to you, Patricia.
Yes.
You know how Ben Shapiro is known for talking really fast?
Yeah.
Okay. I occasionally miss a syllable. I don't, but I think it's, but no, but I think it's just your microphone. Okay. So I'm just saying.
No, I do talk really fast.
No, but a few times I've missed like a key word and I'm like, okay, did she say it is or it isn't? So if you can just slow it down.
Yeah.
So I don't want to miss anything you're saying.
No, I've received the funniest comments before on YouTube. Like, someone's like, it literally sounds like she's rapping. Like, when she's doing it straight down. Or someone's like, no, just put it on like slow. I put mine to 1.5 or something like that. Like,
right.
I'll try and talk slower.
What?
I'll try and talk slower. Obviously that didn't work.
Okay. All right. So Ben Shapiro, people have asked him about abortion. And of course, everybody on the left is pro-choice, and he is not. And he says that, well, would you like to talk about what he says about the issue?
Well, he's religious. So I think his position is that life begins at conception. So that's going a little bit too far. I think for me, I'm very pro-life after it can be established that sentience exists, because sentience is the thing for me that gives rise to individual rights. His view is more based on religion, which is life begins when the sperm enters the egg,
Right.
which I don't find that persuasive. But I find the mostly pro-life or pro-sentience argument irrefutable, and we can get into that if you like.
Yeah. So let's talk about all this stuff. So you and I, the issues that we agree on, I agree with you about the whole. You see, I used to be. Well, okay, look. Essentially, I don't know if anybody cares about my opinion. I'm very interested in yours, but I also think I'm going to say, I used to be like, well, I am. Essentially, I am pro-choice. Okay, when it comes right down to it, I am pro-choice. However, this is something that we have to take so seriously because of sentience. And that is, I disagree with Ben. I don't think that the second the egg hits the sperm, that this is sentient. I don't. So this is where you and I agree.
Yeah.
And sentience is like when the heart starts to beat and when there's movement and little fingers and toes, like when there's a nervous system. Would you agree?
Yeah. So, like I said, I've looked at some of the data on that, and it seems to indicate around that time with the nervous system and brain development nerves or whatever, it's around 6 or 7 weeks. That's the current data that I've looked at. Willing to change if someone has a bigger, large-scale data that says, no, it's actually at 12 weeks or something like that. The principle is pro-life after sentience. It's not a discussion on when sentience occurs or whatever. It's just that's the principle.
Right. And so this is the thing. So what I was going to, let's just stick on the subject of abortion for a little while. Is that okay with you before we get
that's really fun. I love talking about abortion.
Yeah. Because I find
it, yeah.
Because I find it a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, I'll tell you, there's something called a cube of truth. And what a cube of truth is, it's when vegans go in a place, in a gang, and they wear a black shirt and a white mask, and they hold a TV screen, and they show the footage of animals suffering. So here in Montreal, I was with a Cube of Truth, and I was actually primarily a reporter reporting what's going on. Although I did participate in these cubes, mostly I was interested in getting the message out, because one of my main problems that I have with the vegan community is they don't film enough. They don't get the message out. If you're just standing in a subway station, you're only, getting this small bit. Anyway, what I was doing is I was filming around this Cube of Truth. And this person randomly in the subway, because the subway here in Montreal, you go down a bunch of stairs, right? Randomly, this woman lifted up her skirt and peed all over the place. Okay, and I was filming. So I was like, okay, I can't film this, right? Like, what's going on? And it turned out that she was a homeless person and she just had to pee, and she just peed there. And she was obviously either on drugs, some sort of drugs, or drunk or whatever. So I am always, as a reporter type, very interested in the stories. So I said to her, like, are you okay? Like, and just was interested. And she said, I'm not okay. She said, I'm pregnant and I don't know what I'm going to do. Right? And I'm like looking at her, and she has a bit of a belly, but not too much. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this poor kid. Because as a teacher, I have taught kids who have come from mothers who were drunk and who, they have difficulty learning. They never quite fit in, and they suffer their whole lives. I felt, Patricia, like kidnapping this woman and just taking her, like putting her in some place where she had no access to drugs and to alcohol, because she was harming her baby. And this is just immoral, right? And I was like, what do we do as a society? And I just told her, like, have you thought of getting an abortion? I couldn't really tell. Like, she had a lot of clothes on, and I was like, I felt like just go and get an abortion, but then it's the whole sentience thing, right? You're not going to abort a baby that is clearly like, okay, let's say this big, not born yet, but like 7 months, like, I don't know. So I just wanted to tell that story, because it kind of like, I was doing vegan stuff, and then it kind of came over to that issue, and I was like,
yeah. I have a response to that, a general kind of response, not to that woman, because I don't know her. But have you heard of the name the trait argument?
Yes.
Okay, so name the trait.
Yeah, you explain it to others. Yeah, Alex talks about it a lot. Alex O'Connor,
Cosmo Skeptic. Yeah. So name the trait argument, as far as I know, was developed by Isaac from Ask Yourself, another YouTuber, and it's basically a logical.
Stop. You have to say names much slower, because if someone wants to Google it, it's like Isaac. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so the name the trait argument was, as far as I know, it could have existed before, but he made it popular, I guess, by the YouTuber Isaac from Ask Yourself. He does a lot of philosophy debating kind of videos. So this argument is usually used in the context of veganism. So you would ask a meat eater, carnist, whatever, name the trait true of an animal that, if true of a person, would justify treating them the way you do, i.e. stabbing them to death for a sandwich. So it's applied in this context, but I don't know if most people don't know, or if they know. It's actually a logical consistency test that can be applied in many other situations. So it's generalizable to other situations. For example, I'm writing my thesis on legal personhood, and whether animals should get personhood, and I can use that argument, like, why should they not have...
That's going to be your... Oh, that's a great thesis. Oh.
Yeah, it's related to that, more related to the Constitution as well, but we can get into that a little bit later. But just to stay on track here, we can use the name the trait argument with regards to abortion. So it would basically be, name the trait true of a fetus that, if true of...
Stop, Patricia. Stop banging, because it sounds like this.
Oh, sorry. So what I was saying was, you can basically use the name the trait argument instead of using it in the vegan context. You can apply it to the debate on abortion. So basically, what is the real difference between a sentient fetus and a newborn? You know what I mean? So anything, to me, there's not much difference between those two, because sentience gives rise to individual rights. So unless you're willing to say, yes, a mother can kill their newborn who's outside their body because that newborn's going to have a shit life, or because the mother's going to abuse him, blah, blah, blah. Unless you can use that same reason to justify killing a sentient fetus, you've derived a contradiction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So even, like, I'm sorry, this is very controversial, but even in cases of rape and in cases of assault, I think that's horrible. And I think the person who did that should be punished. But it's not clear to me that the same rule shouldn't be applied, unless you're willing to say, oh, yeah, a mother should be able to kill a newborn because she was raped and she was forced to have that baby. I wouldn't say that. I would still say the baby should live. It doesn't make that much difference to me that an 8-month-old baby or whatever is in the stomach of someone else because of the sentience trait.
And this is where I have changed over the last few years in thinking about the whole sentience thing, having since becoming vegan. And, you know, I think watching these, you know, I mean, I've watched thousands of hours of animal footage. It's just heartbreaking. That's why I'm suffering from dystopia, the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world, because I constantly watched these things because I was teaching them. So I would watch them with students and just to learn. And one of the things that was traumatic to me, you know, it was just seeing these mother cows being murdered, turned into sandwiches. And when they cut them open, to see a baby cow inside. And that just was like, I don't know. It just hit me. Like, it just hit me. I started to think about the whole abortion thing and the sentience thing and everything. And I just started thinking of what age and how do these relate? And so, yeah.
I mean, society has convinced people that it's okay to kill unborn babies.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's just not. And it is something that needs to be taken so seriously. And that's why I think you're going to agree with me here. We need to have candy dispensers where you put in a quarter and you get the morning after pill. What do you think? Like,
yeah, that's one way to address it.
Like, you know, give them out for free like to anybody who wants one without any restrictions, because there's no sentience yet. And if you have been raped or you've had sex and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? And the old condom ripped story and all that, whatever happens. So, oh my God, I just realized I had a super chat. Thank you so much, by the way. I was busy yakking and I don't know what's happened to it now. It's gone. But thank you so much. What was the question? Do you guys remember that was on the thing? Or was it a comment? Oh yeah, there was a comment saying thank you for being vegan or something, or that you became vegan, or no, that we're anyway, thank you. Sorry. I'm not good at these things yet. I get so into my talking with my guests, but thank you so much. I'm trying not to ignore anybody. Okay, thank you. So Patricia, to make sure that we keep involving our audience here in the questions, can you please read this?
Contraception should be provided free to the population. We pay enough taxes. There need more slave consumers to be born, though. Capitalism.
What do you think?
Contraception should be provided. Yeah, I guess there could be an argument made for that. We pay enough taxes. Definitely true. They need more slaves, consumers to be born. I don't know if the last sentence is meant to be a joke or not.
Yeah,
I think
you mean the hashtag? Or they need to? Oh wait, they need more slave consumers to be born, though. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's quite a pessimistic view on life, but whatever. If that makes you happy to view it that way, sure.
Right. Okay, so we are in agreement about abortion.
Sure. Yeah. While we're on the abortion topic, I just want to say the sentience argument is a really good way to outreach conservatives, to start off talking about discussion and then link it to animal rights. And I've actually been successful in doing that and reaching a conservative with a vegan message. So that may be something we want to talk about as well. First of all, why aren't the Ben Shapiros and the Candace Olsons and other conservatives vegan, and how can we get them to be vegan?
Exactly. That's really what I want to talk about. These conservative leaders, why aren't they vegan? And how can we get to them if they are? Because I think it's a great argument that you're making, or a discussion as a way to get into them, into their heads and into their hearts. And definitely. And so that's what I just said off camera to Patricia. I said, I think that we should unite, and we need to find others who are going to penetrate into the conservative movement and try to find the vegans in there, or talk logically to them. So that's what I think that's a big interest of mine. It is, of course, teaching veganism to kids here, and to do my little videos on, my TikTok singing and dancing, but it's another whole side that I'm super interested in. So, who knows how we can work together, maybe have a regular show, maybe try to invite some of these people. Obviously, Ben Shapiro and Candace are not going to come on our show.
Never know.
But, maybe we can have a separate YouTube channel called Those Vegan Conservatives or something, to grab their attention, even though I don't consider myself to be conservative, because it's not that, it's not that to that extreme. But, it might be a catchy title. Yeah. I don't know.
Vegan conservatives or something. Yeah, I have theories as to why they are not vegan and how we can make them vegan if we want to get into that. But if you want to spend more time talking about what we're talking about now, that's fine too. But just to let you know.
Like, I have a theory. They're just selfish. They just don't care enough about the individual. Like, I don't know. And yet they say they care about the individual, right? They're not socialists. So it's confusing. So, okay, we talked about abortion, and even on abortion, Patricia, we haven't really gone further. Like, what would you do? Because I talked to you about the woman on drugs and how I felt like kidnapping her and putting her into some sort of hospital to take away the drugs, so that when her baby is born, he or she will have a half decent life. But of course,
I can answer that question by asking you a question. If the baby was newborn, the name the trait argument is applicable to any situation that you're going to give me. It's basically, would you kill the newborn? And if you wouldn't kill the newborn, you cannot kill the fetus, the sentient fetus. That's just how it works.
That's right. So what do you do? So what would you have done? Okay, you're in a cube of truth. You're in Montreal, and you're down below on the subway line. Okay, and there's a bunch of cement stairs, and suddenly a woman pees in front of you. There's not that many people around, but she pees, and you're like, oh my God! And she tells you that she is pregnant, and you know that she's on drugs. She's asking you for money, and she's saying, I need drugs. What do? What's your moral responsibility? You know that baby is being harmed, and that baby is going to have a shit life. What do you do?
Yeah, so I probably would have referred to her to social services or the police. Maybe even tried to look at her ID and then tell the police about her. But unfortunately, we don't have much laws, or if any, protecting the unborn, and that's part of the problem as well, because our moral duty towards citizens is clear. Like, if she was harming a child or abusing, like if she was smoking in a child's face and stamping out her cigarettes and peeing on a child, we would be able to do something about that, because the child is not inside her body. But because the child is, we have limited things that we can enforceable rules on that. There's only so much you can do, unfortunately, because of how we perceive abortion.
Okay, so you're the queen of the world now. Okay, you have all the power. Whatever you point to, whoever you call, you get to decide. Now, what do? You have more power than just calling social services. I mean, she's going to give you her ID. That's not going to help, Patricia. because she doesn't have a living address.
So I can do whatever I want in this situation.
Anything you want. You can call.
I'd probably just lock her in a room, make her go cold turkey for the next 9 months, feed her vegan food until she's healthy, and then have the child, and then she can fuck off and do whatever she wants, and the child can go, we can look after the child. That's what I would do.
I'm going to start making a list of things that you and I agree on. And that's another one. Kidnapping. We agree with kidnapping mothers. Yep.
In this situation, sure.
Right? Like, I mean, it's terrible. But like, if you push it to that extent, that's kind of what I feel. Like, you can't just let mothers poison their babies. Oh my God. There's, the people on the vegans on the left are going to hate us. They're just, but I don't see any other solutions. So, okay. Abortion, we agree with looking at the sentience. What is the date? Maybe it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks. We agree in having.
Whatever the sentience is, yeah.
Do you agree with me about having morning after pills?
Yeah.
Available in high schools. Just ask for it. You get it instantly. Whether you're 11, 12, 13, 14, you get one, yes or no?
I got to make clear about something because I got asked about sex work recently, and my answer is kind of nuanced and long-winded. I don't have a yes or no answer because I think, yes, that's a better option than just letting kids have unprotected sex, but I don't think it targets the real problem because I think a lot of kids do feel pressure, like teenagers, into having sex before they're ready and all this kind of stuff. So I think education is the real issue and having a proper upbringing to not do things you're not ready for. So while I think that, yes, contraception should be made available so they don't, have unprotected sex or whatever, I don't think it's a long-term solution to getting kids to feel secure about themselves and not do things that they don't want to do or they're not ready for.
100% agree. Okay, so, but just for my little list here for fun, condoms in the washrooms, yes, free condoms. Or at the school secretary, no, somewhere where you can just get a condom. You don't even have to tell anybody, yes or no.
Yeah, I think there's a good argument for that. I'd have to think about it more, but my intuition right now is just like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay, so for now, and either one of us can change our minds the more we know.
Yeah. It's not something I feel super strongly about, but it's like, yeah, it probably seems
free condoms. What about free morning after pills?
Yeah. I mean, might as well.
You're going to teach the kids, like, don't eat these things like Smarties. They're not Skittles. Never mind Smarties because they're not vegan, but you're going to teach them what they mean. You're going to educate, but if somebody wants one, we let them have it. That's what I think. Okay. So free morning after pills. What else?
With the caveat that I don't think it's a long-term solution, but yeah,
yes, that was the other
precaution.
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing is the long-term solution. What is it? Cross your legs?
No, I think my assumption of what I've observed is that a lot of kids, especially girls, do things like that before they're ready. And I think it stems from insecurities and not having a good upbringing, not feeling valued, society telling them, be pretty and do this and go on dates and blah, blah, blah. And I think if a lot of them didn't feel that way and had a more objective view and did things when they were ready, that would probably be a solution. So it's a form of education. I don't know how you would do it. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with like your parents as well, taking care of you and maybe having some kind of, because whenever they try and do sex ed classes in school, it always just comes off as cringy. I remember learning about it and like, this is so like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know.
No, exactly I don't know what you mean actually. No, I'm serious. I don't know because I want to know how you define cringe. But before I do, I want to remind you not to bang because every time it goes clunk, clunk, clunk. And I want to, right after you talk about what is cringy, we're going to go to Celeste Vegan's comment. Okay? So what did you think about what was cringy with your sex ed in school?
Well, we had this teacher who was kind of a pervert. So that was the first thing. And he was obviously uncomfortable in talking about sex education. That was the second thing.
Wait, hold on. Because I'm a teacher. Careful now. Okay, so he was uncomfortable talking about sex. That's one thing. And he was also a pervert?
Yeah.
Okay, like the pervert side is like, that's definitely cringy. The uncomfortable talking about sex. Okay, what do you mean? Why do you think he was a pervert?
Because in gym class, he would like stare at all the girls when we were trying to do like gymnastics or trampoline stuff. And it was just very obvious. It's obvious when someone's a perv, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't that fun. Yeah, it was disgusting.
All right. Okay. And why was sex class cringy? Because he was uncomfortable talking about it, you're saying?
Yeah, and just it felt very clinical, like some of the diagrams that we got on the human body, and it just felt like they were ticking a box and they weren't really interested in making sure people understood like the consequences of the reality of sex, I guess. It's hard to explain. It was just a mixture of things, cringy, uncomfortable, and the teacher was a perv.
Okay. Yeah, as a teacher, I think this subject is really difficult, because if you're like too like, hey, let's talk about sex, baby, and you're all like that, then it can it can be seen as like it's just it's not a serious topic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, teachers have to be so careful to not give their personal opinion. And if you make it too kind of cool, it'd be like, kids are going to start asking, well, when was the first time you had sex? Oh, it was in the back. It's in the back of a car. And I shouldn't tell that to my kids or whatever. I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying that, it's the teachers have to be, anyway. Okay, that's another topic. So you want to read Celeste's comment?
Oh yeah. Hello, I just wanted to know, Patricia, what type of lawyer are you, patent, criminal justice, etc.? So I'm an admitted solicitor, and the type of law I practice in was property and commercial litigation. So that kind of thing, not so much criminal, although I really loved studying criminal law, but more on the corporate commercial contracts kind of side of things. And then I was in legal publishing for a while, which is a little bit different from practicing law, but still related. And now I'm back at university writing a legal thesis. So it's a bit of a broad experience.
So you actually are doing it officially, this thesis, or you're applying to do this, or you're actually?
No. I'm in the middle of the semester now. Yeah. So I'm admitted at the University of Sydney.
Okay. Are you gonna end up recruiting a bunch of vegans now because of this thesis? Like, that's cool.
It's funny because the class, so we're a cohort. The degree is called the Advanced Honors Degree Program, and it's what you write to get into a PhD program, because I want to do a PhD ultimately, and become like a lecturer teaching at universities eventually. So the degree I'm in, the students are more kind of left leaning, but they're not so left that they're crazy, So I think I have influenced some of them a little bit just by being there with veganism and with some political kind of stuff. Because at universities, as I said before, all they teach you are left-wing kind of ideologies in the humanities and social sciences. If anyone wants to debate me on that, I'm so happy to, because I did 5 years of law school and I'm doing this degree now, and I know what it's like studying in humanities and social sciences, and you definitely don't get any conservative or any other perspectives apart from left. So I think, I have helped influence them a little bit, I think, just by being there and offering a different point of view that isn't just, yes, I agree with everything you say, miss, white people are racist, oh my God, Trump is an evil dictator, you know what I mean? Just by me being like, is it that bad though? Like, are things really as bad as they say? What about this statistic? What about this? So I think it has played a part in changing some things. I like to think so anyway.
All right. So let's read this. Okay. I'm Israeli and became vegan because of Ms. Diekmeyer's videos. That's my last name, and you spelled it right, and it's pronounced Diekmeyer. Yeah. Thanks, Katie. How do you deal with haters? I cry every day. My friends laugh at me and I find it hard and childish because they are 30-year-olds plus. No, I mean, I say this all the time. Like, I cry every day. So I do cry often. And it is when I think about the animals and when I think about how horrible people are. The hardest thing about being vegan to me is that I was joking with Patricia about this before we went live, because she said, you can talk to me about anything. I don't care. You can insult me. And I was like, she's like, I don't really feel things like that. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm just a walking ball of feelings. Like I feel everything. And I'm like, I give you some of my feelings because I think about the animals and I get I couldn't even watch all of Dominion. Like I just sob. Like I become and I've said this before, when we've done outreach and we're standing in front of Canada Goose and we're like protesting, and then they put the sound of the animals crying, getting skinned. I fall down, like I curl up into a ball. Like I cannot handle the sound of animals crying or like even babies crying. Like I have to run to them. I have to like, are you okay? Like I can't stand suffering at all. So anyway, so yeah, I find it really hard. Not when people are mean to me. I mean, I'm used to it. Like I'm pretty tough. Like, you know, this guy Dad's Games who said he wanted to debate me. He has 6 million followers. He's a YouTuber who's trying to chicken out of it now. No offense to the chickens, but like he's like, oh, I'm afraid that it might be too hard on you to debate me live in England because the audience might be too tough. I'm like, bring it on. Like I don't care. Like I'm not worried. And he's like, oh, but and then so he's like trying to get out of a debate now that he invited me to. But anyway, I've got a song coming up for him. Yeah.
I love this song.
It's a rap song too. Anyway, so yeah, I find it, but yeah, I find it hard because I think about the students and the younger kids and how they're the vegan phobia is real. I think vegan phobia is as bad as racism, and I think it's as bad as homophobia because kids are being thrown out of the house when they're vegan. They are being hit when they're vegan. They are being forced to eat dead animals. This is horrific, and people just think it's a joke, and I don't think it's a joke at all. Parents are terrible to their kids. And sometimes spouses are not nice to their spouses. People deliberately put dead animals in front of people who they know it's going to hurt. And this goes on in places of work, in school, everywhere. Every single school should be vegan. From the moment you walk into the door, there should be no non-vegan products in there. Every hospital, vegan. That's it. You know, don't bring an egg past this door. Don't bring any cow's milk. Don't bring any dead animals. We need a vegan world. So it's very hard. I suffer from dystopia, the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world. But I consistently get back up and get at it because I have a job to do, which is to veganize this world. Because I paid for the rape, torture, and murder of innocent animals. I ate them just like everybody else. I ate eggs. I drank milk. I ate cheese, fish. I did it. I did it all. I'm guilty. And I'm going to try to undo that damage. If it's possible, which is never possible. So anyway, that's what I do. So do you want to read this one? Oh, it seems like it's for me. You need a message, a massage. I need a massage. Honey, somebody told me I need a massage, and I think they're right here. Oh God. I love massages. If I was ever rich, that's what I would get, a massage, like a massage therapist to walk me around all day. Just walk around beside me. Here, okay, just massage anything. You massage my finger, I'll be like, ah. But how about you, Patricia? Do you like massages, or are you like, get your hands off me?
Yeah, I don't really like strangers touching me. But if I were to get a massage, I usually ask for a woman masseuse. I just hate, it's so weird having a stranger guy. Yeah, I'm kind of like, what the fuck? But I don't mind it if it's like another girl or something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so you're lesbian.
What's that?
So you're lesbian.
Yeah. No, right. I'm not. I'm straight. If it was my boyfriend or something, that's fine. But I just mean if we're getting paid massages, I usually just ask for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, you want to read this one?
It is the nature of humans and other species to care more about their own species, in this case, the human race, than other species. It is the nature of wanting your species to survive at all costs. What has that got to do with holocausting animals? We can survive and not holocaust animals. Idiot.
Right. It's the nature of wanting your own species to survive. I don't know.
Literally nothing to do with exploring animals.
It's not my nature. It's not my nature. My nature is to do the least harm. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody.
You can agree with him, though. All he's saying is that humans want to care about themselves. You can care about yourselves and not kill others. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense what he's saying. He hasn't thought it through.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to hurt animals. Exactly. Eat tofu. All right. Do you want to just, before we go to the next one, next comment, there's so many comments, but I wanted to do our little agenda here, just stick to our little agenda because I'm curious.
Yeah.
We talked about Ben Shapiro, and we were going to talk about Jordan Peterson.
Or Sam Harris.
Okay, let's do Jordan Peterson.
All right.
Because he's Canadian. He's a Montreal lecturer. He did work at the University of Toronto, and he recently was hospitalized and so on. But he made quite an appearance on the world stage before. He did a lot of lecturing. He wrote a book, The 12 Rules for Life, something like that. That's the title.
Yeah, 12 Rules of Life, yeah.
And you have his second book. Do you want to hold that up?
Beyond Order.
Right.
12 more rules for life, just in case you didn't get the first 12.
Yeah, 12 more rules. Oh, by the way, what are they? Do you have the titles?
For the first one? The first one, famous.
No, the next 12 rules of life that he has in that book. Can you I'm just really curious because I haven't seen it yet. So the 12 rules of life are like, one of them's like make your bed or something like that, right?
Yeah, so in the first book, the first one is clean your room.
Clean your room.
And then the last one is always pat the stray cat, which I thought was funny.
Okay, so essentially what he's saying, just one sec. So let's just go to the clean your room. Why don't you explain that?
He's kind of saying, to simplify, maybe perhaps oversimplify, what he means is if your environment is unstructured and disorganized and you're living in chaos, your life is going to reflect that. Your life will reflect your environment. That's basically it.
And also take care of your own stuff before you try to clean up the world. I think part of his message is that he thinks that young people go to university and they're like 18 years old and like, let me tell you how the world should be. And he's like, excuse me, like, you're just a baby. You're just like, you just cracked open the eggshell. You just came here. Like, how about you go to university and listen and learn something? That's what he thinks. Like, we don't really care about your opinions here. Like, I'm the professor, right? I mean, I'm exaggerating, but he's basically saying because there's a lot of people that are protesting, saying, trying to this cancel culture, and you shouldn't be allowed to speak, and they know nothing about history. And believe me, I'm one of these people who knows nothing about history. I mean, history is never ending. You could just read and read and read and read and read, right? But I know enough to know that I know nothing. And that's, I think, the start. But there's some people who won't even clean their own room, and they go out and they try to clean up the whole rest of the world. And he's just, so that's what it's like a metaphor for that. I think is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully put.
Yeah. And so he has a book, 12 Rules for Life. And whether you agree with them or not, I have the audiobook, and I found it sometimes a bit tedious to listen to. And I kind of thought to myself, I almost wished I'd had the hard copy to kind of go through. But so tell me, could you please read them? I'm going to take little notes. I'm really curious.
Do you want me
Bear with us, you guys.
Do you want me just to read a couple out because there's 12 of them, or do you want me to read the whole rules?
I would like you to read all 12, but a little bit slower than you usually talk.
Okay, sure, yeah. Okay, so number 1, do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievement.
Okay, institutions okay, I wonder if he's referring to the Bible. He talks about the Bible a lot.
Yeah.
Is that, do you think he refers to that as creative? Did you read that chapter?
Yeah, I did. He kind of does because this is not an insult, even though it's going to sound like one, but a lot of his self-help advice is kind of like a more intelligent version of Christianity. Sometimes I find it's like he's secularized it, like taken the good things out of a philosophy or religion like Christianity and taught that and made it his own. Right. I think social institutions, I think he does refer to from memory because I've read like the first 5 chapters, but it was a while ago when I first bought it.
What's number 2?
Achievement.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. Imagine who you could be.
Imagine who you could be?
Do you want me to read number 2 out?
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was
Yep.
number 2.
No. I'm just reading slower. So you
Okay. What's number 2?
imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly at that.
Right. That's a good rule.
Yeah.
Imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly at that. Now, listen up, people. We're both vegan. I'm that vegan teacher and she's that vegan lawyer. And I think I speak for both of us when I say, imagine that you are vegan and aim single-mindedly towards that. Just don't buy any more dead.
No distractions.
No distractions. Don't give yourself any bullshit excuses. That's it. Be vegan from now on. And then after you're vegan, become an animal rights activist, which is part of it. And then let's save the rest of the world, because veganism is just the basic moral thing that you can do. It's a baseline. After that, we have all kinds of work. We got pollution in the oceans. We've got people killing each other. Let's just all be vegan to begin with. That's just the start.
It's just the beginning.
So
Number 3.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
I'm writing this on our list. I'm writing this on the list of things that we agree. So veganism is just the beginning. Okay. Yep. Go ahead. What's number 3?
So rule 3, do not hide unwanted things in the fog.
Do not hide unwanted things in the fog. Okay.
I can't remember what he meant by that. I'm not sure what he means.
That's okay. Yeah. We don't have to. We could be here for 5, 6, 10 hours if we go through each of. But quick, sort of relatively quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Next one. Notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated.
Opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. In other words, okay, what he means is wherever there's a mess, just go and clean it up. There's something to do there. Or a kerfuffle, a struggle, a war, a famine, a disease, something. There's an opportunity. Is that kind of what you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Cool. Opportunity lurks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5.
The next 2 are my favorite, so they're important.
Oh,
this one is do not do what you hate. So I think he's basically saying try and make your livelihood based on your passions, not on anything else. And then everything else like money and economic freedom and all that stuff will come later.
Okay, here's the tough one. This is why I paused. I hate eating vegan food. I'm not doing it because Patricia read me rule number 5 and it says, don't do what you hate. So, what are you going to say about that?
Nom, 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 nom. I love vegan food. I say you're out of your mind.
Right. Speaking of that. Second banana of the day. No, but they mean, I think Jordan Peterson is saying, don't do what you hate. Meaning job and things like that. But you know,
live on purpose. Basically saying live on purpose, find your passion and purpose, and have principles and live on them. Veganism being a good. Well,
and this guy should be vegan. He is not vegan. In fact, listen up, everybody. This is going to floor you. This is another reason why I find Patricia so interesting, because Jordan Peterson, who, by the way, is saying stuff that's been said before over the years, it's kind of like wisdom of the ages. It's just that he happens to have a way of saying it. And he filmed himself as a university professor, psychology professor. I don't know if I said that in the intro, but he had a way of expressing himself that was kind of interesting. And he filmed himself. And so, he gathered an audience. So
he speaks what I love about his delivery is it's very honest and angry. Like he's almost angry when he speaks. And I love that. Like it reminds me of Malcolm X or someone like that. And it makes you believe what he's saying more than you might otherwise, like emotionally kind of believe. I don't know if you've seen talks where he's getting interviewed or like debating or anything like that. And I don't know. I just like how worked up he gets.
But he also cries easily. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he breaks down. And actually, in one of my videos here on YouTube recently, well, a couple actually, I was doing something and I was watching the footage of animals and I started to cry. And I was about to stop filming because I thought, okay, I can't just start break down and cry.
Yeah.
But because of Jordan Peterson crying, like getting teared up, talking about things that he's passionate about, even though I don't think the things that he's passionate about are anywhere near veganism. We're not talking about torturing animals here. Sorry, I just smacked my banana. But regardless, I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe it's okay to cry. That is sincerely what I'm feeling right now, and I'm going to do it. And I did it. And then it happened again. Whenever I watch animals suffering, I feel that it just overwhelms me. So I have to be careful with what I do here on YouTube. I can't be talking too much about the cruelty to animals, or I'll be crying every single video. Like, people are gonna be like, okay, like, she needs help. Like, you know.
I think it's interesting what you just said before about you said the issues he cares about are nowhere near as significant as veganism or animal suffering, and I agree. But I think the issues he cares about are actually related to animal rights and veganism, and this is what we need to start doing with these conservatives and classical liberals, because he cares about things like individual rights. That's our entire movement is about the individual rights of animals. Ben Shapiro cares about things like sentience. Our individual rights it's based on the sentience of animals, but he cares about it in the unborn children. So
animals need personhood.
Right. Personhood, right? Individual rights. This is all compatible with the conservative philosophy, freedom of speech and movement, having people not interfere with your life. All they need to start doing is applying that to animals.
They just need to be they just need to be consistent and not be hypocritical.
And morality. Yeah.
And so what we have to do, this is our job, is to penetrate that world and teach them that. Because if not us, who is going to do it? Because what I see, Patricia, is that vegans as a group tend to be on the left and they never cross this barrier. It's like they don't even see what's going on the right at all. This is an impression I get when I was on Facebook. They're just all talking to each other, the same thing over and over. And I'll be like, hey, did you ever? I said, hey, you know what? I'm watching Fox News this week. What? Don't ever watch that bullshit. And I was like, oh, like, well, it's because I know what happens. Because I said, oh, well, it's important that we look at what's going on both sides. Because how will we know what's going on? Like, you gotta have people that you disagree with in your news feeds. You can't only watch people that you agree with. How are you ever going to grow and learn?
They do that because once, especially with the people that are big on social media or even in academia, once they have that audience and have that income, they don't want to do anything that's going to polarize that. So without naming any names, but take any big, with the exception of like Freely and maybe Vegan Gains, who are openly like, just, I don't give a fuck, I'll just say whatever. Literally everyone else is reluctant to, because their audience, they know vegans are left. They know they can't say anything that is going to sound racist or whatever, because a lot of these people are kind of owned by people that support things like BLM. And we saw that with the Anonymous for the Voiceless thing, where the donor...
Why won't you name any names? Curious. Why wouldn't you?
It's just going to look like slandering, because I think they do good work for the animals, but I don't agree with some of the things I've done in the past or said in the past, and supported things like Black Lives Matter, which is literally, I don't even have to name names. Literally every vegan activist supported BLM without even knowing anything about it or speaking about racism for like...
I did. I supported BLM because to me, I'm looking at the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they matter. But I also hashtagged All Lives Matter. And oh my God, shit hit the fan. Now I'm racist. I literally in my post would have both Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. And I was considered to be racist just for saying that. You're not allowed to say that all lives matter. I'm like, but guys, we're all vegan and we know that all lives matter. Yeah, but you can't say that right now. You have to take that down. You don't, how dare you? And then I had hundreds of comments from vegans telling me to take off my All Lives Matter hashtag. So I wrote a song called All Lives Matter. I Can't Breathe. I mean, I talked about all of this because to me, these are all interconnected. And this is when I started to see that the vegan world really needs a wake-up call. Like we need to seriously open our minds and figure out how, if we want to change the world for the animals, we have to cross that barrier and go into these conservative movements and into this space and start, shaking people up a bit.
In doing that, though, we need to understand that this isn't just happening in the vegan movement. This is like this irritating force of identity politics that's taken over justice movements and really obscured the actual legitimate movements of justice, like animal rights and like other issues like Islamic women. All these things have been hijacked.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about, yeah. So Islamic women, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. Like, so tell me what you think about that. What's your stance on that?
On
what? Well, you mentioned Islam and Islamic women. What do you feel like? How has this been hijacked? What are your views on what's going on?
Yeah, so I've been pretty outspoken since I've been an activist on Islam and my views on that. Islam has a religious ideology is completely incompatible with human rights and liberal democracy. So it's incompatible with a modern Western society or a modernized society. And that's reflected in the religious law they teach, like Sharia law, women dressed from head to toe, stoning apostates, public executions, like killing homosexuals. This is evident in the religion as it's practiced in the Middle East, Asia, certain regions of the world. And then when we look at the moderate, people say, oh, there's moderate Muslims, there's a moderate Muslim demographics. We have solid data on what those moderate Muslims believe. And it's still highly problematic. A large percentage of them believe that if you publish a cartoon ridiculing Islam, you should be prosecuted. A large percentage of them still believe that, something like it's called honor killings, where they kill someone for leaving the religion or for committing blasphemy. A large percentage of them still believe that that should happen. A larger percentage want Sharia law implemented in Britain. So this is a huge.
Slow down a bit, because when you're saying these terms, right, you have to remember that some people watching might not know what you mean when you just say Sharia law really fast. So maybe explain what that is.
Yeah. So Sharia law is the religious law that forms part of the Islamic tradition. So like here in Australia, we have laws that are passed by Parliament and then implemented the courts or whatever. But in Islam, their religion is their law. There's no separation between the religion and the state.
Yeah, which is not the way it is in Canada. It's not the way it is in the States. Yeah, we separate religion and politics because we need to, because it's really dangerous if you don't.
Yeah, and that's not to say our values haven't been influenced by some religions like Christianity, but we've managed to have a distinction between religion and the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my view on Islam. It's not compatible with human rights. It's not something that should exist in a modern society.
But you see, if you say that out loud, you can be accused again of, just being racist and
Islamophobia.
Yeah, Islamophobia.
Just words they use. It doesn't mean anything. It's just words they use to slander. It's not based. You're putting forward an argument and showing them why something is immoral, and they're just saying a word Islamophobe.
Yeah. Yeah. What would be another word for it? It's just that you're not. What would you call it if it's not Islamophobia? Like we would call it just. Well, I'm just against violence. I'm just. It's. I just don't want people to kill other people for no reason, or for men to throw acid on their wives' faces if they happen to take off a veil.
Yeah, I'm against oppressive regimes.
That's what it is. It's not Islamophobia. It's I'm against oppressive regimes. That right? Is that a way to say it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Sam Harris is one of the biggest critics of Islam, and he actually got into a lot of hot water over it back in the day in 2014, 2015 for saying certain comments about Islam, that it was the motherlode of bad ideas, that it is all fringe and no center, which he's completely correct about. And he says, if people are getting killed,
wait, I want to write that. He said, what is his quote? It's Islamophobia, or it is all fringe. What is it? It's all fringe and no
center.
What is?
Islam is all fringe and no center.
Islam.
Yeah.
Not Islamophobia. Okay, Islam.
No, Islam. He's a huge critic of Islam and religion in general.
Okay, yeah. Islam is all fringe
and no center.
Why is Sam Harris not vegan?
Okay, so this is really interesting because recently he's done a podcast where it sounds like he kind of is, like he probably is, because he's been hassled for years by vegans, including myself, and make videos about him and it's kind of worked. Like we bullied him into doing an animal rights. It sounds like he's at least vegetarian now.
Bully the bullies.
Because out of all the thinkers that we've talked about, Sam is the most one that's at risk of being a massive hypocrite because all his content is based on morality and consciousness and all this kind of, he claims to be like a moral expert, which he kind of is in some ways. But then he's contributing to mass atrocities, and he admitted in the past how hypocritical he is. So he's full on just admitted, yeah, I'm a massive hypocrite because I talk about morality and I still eat animals. He tried to go vegetarian. That didn't work. But recently it sounds like he's come around a little bit. And I don't know if you saw my post on it, but I did a soundbite of what he said. And he was actually mocking meat eaters, like roasting them, making fun of them for saying things like, I just want to eat real meat. I don't want this fake lab shit. And he's like, what they're telling you is that they want the flesh of, what did he say? He's like, they want all the misery and chaos from the tortured flesh of terrified animals or something. And he called it murder. So I think he might be on his way to veganism, if not already vegan.
Oh.
Because only a vegan talks like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Did you see this video that I post often? I don't think you're following my channel that much, but lately it's called, what is it? A minute in a month or something. Anyway, it's this video. It's like a minute and 45 seconds long. It's a dark-skinned woman's adventure to when she's at the beginning of January all the way to December. And it shows her non-vegan, making fun of vegans, all the way to becoming vegan and a vegan animal rights activist a full year later. I love this video so much, Patricia. It's just
I'll have to watch it.
Oh my God. I think it's in my description actually. Did we just freeze? Are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. My video right now.
Oh, I'm gone. You're gone.
You're still here.
Yeah, you left and then came back.
I don't know what happened. Everything just went. I thought maybe it was the power on my computer, but it wasn't. Everything just died. But I was thinking, oh, I hope she's still there. Anyway, yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about. Sam Harris and how he should be vegan.
And then you said something about the video with the dark-skinned woman.
Oh yeah, I think it's in the link in my description. It's so great. It's such a great one to show people. There's like no violence in it, but it's just a young woman and how she, makes this transition. And that's what I was thinking. It's interesting because I stopped this video and I show it. It's only a minute. Like I said, it's not even 2 minutes long, and I can stop it and I can talk for like 30 minutes about every little thing that happens. All these, because I have this theory that it takes 100 clicks until you become vegan, and how she's making a connection, but still eating the dead animals, And so I'm saying that Sam Harris sounds like he's maybe starting to get some of these clicks because he's talking about it, but he hasn't quite figured out yet that he's a hypocrite or like, anyway. Now I'm going to look.
The soundbite's only like 30 seconds. I could play it to you and you could tell me what you think. If he sounds like
what do you have it like on your phone? Like a.
Yeah, it's just because I posted to Instagram. It's only literally like 40 seconds.
Oh, cool. Great.
But I'll have to take my earphones out so you can hear it.
Okay, so just for everybody who's just tuning in, we're going to be listening to a little clip of Sam Harris, who is a YouTuber, and it looks like he maybe might be starting to become vegan, and we're going to listen to this.
Okay.
People, at least there was a kind of ick factor where they thought that's not something I really want to eat, right? And yet, what's so strange about this is what they're telling you is that if you could only add all the blood and chaos and misery of a slaughterhouse to the picture, then they would get hungry all of a sudden. Then they feel like eating that steak that had to be reclaimed from the murder of terrified animals and somehow rendered antiseptic enough to consume. Add to the picture the xenoviruses that now everyone has good reason to worry about. How do you guys view the psychology here? I mean, have we actually just blown past this initial reservation in people? And when you
So that's it. Hang on, let me plug in my earphones.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good, huh?
That is super interesting. That is
And
great.
it's especially good if you know what he said about it before. Like he used to say pretty not very good, like a bit apologist and like animal welfare, humane slaughter kind of BS. But now he's like calling it murder and he's really like roasting meat eaters.
Really great. So that's Sam Harris. Keep an eye on him. And we're going to see if he's going to become vegan. That would be awesome. And Stefania is here. Stefania, I love you so much. You're such a great supporter. I thank you so much for everything you're doing. And I haven't heard your song, your version of my song yet, Ma Voix pour eux. I can't wait. Now, I think I've been so busy. I think you said you posted it somewhere, but I don't know where. Anyway, and I hope you're maybe in the comments you could answer or send me something on Instagram or whatever. But so Stefania, for those of you who don't know Stefania, can we get Stefania's comment on here? I don't know how to, there she is, Stefania. This is we are such a weird, unlikely pair, me and Stefania, okay? Look at me, okay? Look how ugly I am, okay? Like,
shut up.
But seriously, I don't care. I'm just saying, it's just, come on. Okay, now you look at Stefania, okay? So Stefania is like the opposite of me in every possible way. She has these beautiful big eyes. I have these little squinty eyes, okay? I have this ugly gray hair. She has this beautiful blonde hair. She is like, my boobs are like, the shape of my wooden cutting board, okay? She has these beautiful, voluptuous boobs. And she is all like she's like Marilyn Monroe. And I'm like, like what's the witch in the one who's on the broom there, Kansas, the Wizard of Oz, I have this bump on my, anyway. So Stefania is this most unlikely person to support me. When I was on TikTok and she started making comments, I thought, okay, this is clearly a fake person. Like clearly somebody who is a supermodel and all made up can't possibly be vegan and a supporter of mine. I'm like, okay, but I'm pretty open-minded. So I was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on this. And she just kept supporting me. Miss Katie, I support you. You're so great. And I was like searching through and I'm like, who is she? I saw pictures of her and she was like with these lambs. And I'm like, oh my God, she might actually be really vegan. And then she's holding a bunny rabbit. And then she was writing comments about animal slavery and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, she's been so sweet. Stefania and I have not actually ever even spoken to one another in real life. I would love her to come on my show, whatever you call this, my whatever this is. I would love it if Stefania, if you would come on. We would have so much fun, I'm sure of it. And we want to also get Vegan Booty together. You know what I want to do? Ladies, we need a vegan ladies club. Okay. Or anyone who identifies as a lady. I don't know. But we need to get some badass vegan women and just get in there and just penetrate this conservative movement. I suggest we have a united, how about this? Some sort of YouTube channel where any of us can put things on. And we call ourselves like those vegan conservatives or something like that, even though we're not conservative. But we got to penetrate into these people and address them. Anyways, we're going to think about that. Some sort of a channel where we all attacked these people. Not attack, but you know what I mean. Candace Owens and Ben and Sam Harrison just say, why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? And we have to go and get these people to be vegan and understand the hypocrisy that they are.
Can you imagine how much better advocates than Sam and Candace would be for veganism in their debating style and in their communication than the fucking left-wing apologists, whatever it is, intersectionals we have now? Can you just imagine those three? Already it looks better.
I can't. They are so much they're so much more articulate. I just basically go blah 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 and don't be mean to animals. That's the extent of my activism. I cannot articulate things. I have probably a below average IQ. I really I don't know. The only way that I've ever got to the top of my TikTok is singing and dancing and being weird. And the only reason I'm here with 50,000 followers is just because I just don't give up. I just like, okay, you beat me up. I go to bed and cry, but like, okay, I'm back in. Here we go. You know, just sheer
That's more
determination.
important than IQ, I think, perseverance. You know, that quote, success is 90% perseverance, 10% talent.
That's the quote. Yeah, it's something like
That's
that.
you.
Yeah, that's me, because I seriously, yeah, if those people like Ben Shapiro, like how he can talk, and you, and this is why I wanted to interview you, because you're also super articulate. The problem with you is that you only have, how many followers do you have on YouTube?
I think it's a bit over 4,000 now. It's because I'm doing a lot of other things as well. Like I'm at uni full time, and I'm going to be consistent. It's definitely a project of mine, and it's a long-term project that'll hopefully grow in time, even if it takes longer than other people.
Exactly. I predict, Patricia, that you're going to go through leaps and bounds and go past me, and you should be having millions of followers if you keep your eye on the prize you got. You got the book by Peterson about the laser focus, you know, and you're doing your thesis about animals having personhood. Like, any way that I can help you at all, because look, you're way prettier to look at than me, and you're more articulate. And I think you should be me. How about we switch channel? How about I give you my 50,000 followers? Yeah, no, that's what I'll do. That's what I should do. I should take my name off of this channel, right? I should just replace it with that vegan lawyer, and you'll have the 51,000, and I'll get a break. Can I just have a break? Like, I just want to go to my room.
Someone's giving you $5. Someone's giving you $5.
Oh, I gotta stop talking. Okay. Okay. Can you read that? I'm getting a sore throat. I talk too much.
Do you think that the alignment policy analytic aligns with veganism? I think that it essentially proves that veganism is essential. Do you know what that alignment policy analytic is? I do not.
I don't know. Where is this person from? Is this like Canadian? Is this what is this? $5 Luke. It's in green. Is that okay? I don't know if this is a Canadian thing or a policy. American. My guest here, Patricia, is from Australia, and she doesn't know what it means. So anyway, do we think that veganism is essential? I can work on the last 3 words of your sentence. Veganism is essential. Yes. That's what I think.
It's a moral imperative to not harm vulnerable beings when we don't have to.
I know that you've been listening to Gary Francione.
Well, actually, I've been writing about him, but yeah.
Writing about him. All right. He's one of the people, I heard one of his speeches on Facebook. Okay, Gary Francione, for those of you who don't know, well, you tell us. You're my guest. Tell us.
So he's one of the...
And the abolitionist movement. Talk about that. The abolitionist.
Yeah. So he's one of the major figures, especially in academia, to break away from the animal welfare narrative that says that there is a nice way to murder and slaughter and do all these horrible things to innocent animals. And he, I guess, helped pioneer the abolitionist approach to animal rights. And his work focuses a lot, and this is why I have to talk about it. I don't even have a choice. I have to talk about it because he's so important in academia. He focuses a lot on abolishing the property status of animals, because they're still, if they're considered at all, they're considered property under law, and moving towards personhood for animals. So that's who Francione is.
Yes. And he had a Facebook group, and he probably still does. And he blocked me when I was a new vegan. No, but when I was what?
He's a pain in the ass. Like, he's a brilliant writer, but he's like has an activist and has a person. He's just generally known to be a pain in the ass.
Right. So I was just like commenting or asking questions when I was becoming vegan or just a new vegan. And I think he just thought I was one of these. I guess he thought I was a pain in the ass or something. And he just flushed me. And I was like, hey, but wait, no, I agree with you. But I was gone. Anyway, I've been trying to contact him on Twitter, because I would like to tell him that he is part of the reason that I'm vegan. Like, he had a really great little 5-minute speech on his channel for a while that talked about veganism as a moral imperative. And it was great.
He used to block people or remove them just for sharing Gary Yourofsky's speech, just for doing that.
Why? Wait, what?
Criticizes.
What? Wait, what? They hate it. They don't like it. What? Why?
Or I know, yeah, they don't like each other, but I think it might be because he's a pacifist, and I think pacifists are crazy, and so does Gary Yourofsky, who is a good friend of mine, and he might have blocked Gary.
Wait, stop. Who's the pacifist?
Gary Francione.
You think that Gary Francione is the pacifist, and he hates Gary Yourofsky because?
Well, I don't think he is. I know he is. Like, that's openly what he says. He's absolutely against violence in all situations.
Okay,
which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so interesting. Oh my God, we're gonna be here forever. Okay, so because he's recently talking a lot about Jainism, this religion, and I know that some of them or they were vegan, or they should be, or he's trying to convince them or something like that. And okay, pacifism. So he doesn't like Gary Yourofsky because what does he not like? Gary Yourofsky was the two of them, the two Garys.
From memory, he doesn't like Gary because Gary is not a pacifist, and he's written essays before defending the use of violence for animals. That's my understanding. It could be other reasons. It could be another reason, but from memory, that's why he doesn't like Gary Yourofsky. Gary's written like quite eloquent essays defending the use of violence for animals.
Gary Yourofsky. Yes. Okay. So Gary Yourofsky believes in violence to protect animals. I know that he has gone and opened cages and went to jail because he rescued, I don't know how many minks, right? He opened up the cages and just let them all free.
Yeah, 2,631 or something like that now.
2,000?
Over 2,000. It was like 2,632 or something.
Yeah. So is when he talks about violence, does Gary Francione think that, like, does he equate going into places and cutting the bars and setting the animals free as violent? Does he consider that to be a violent act?
He considers anything outside talking in a classroom or handing out leaflets violence. He's a pacifist. Like, I'm telling you, they're insane. It's insane to think that's the only valid way of education. And he also criticizes other activists like Anonymous for the Voiceless. He's criticized so many activists, and he thinks only his way of writing about it or talking about it.
Well, look, but he's against welfarism, which I totally agree with. But now I really understand, because I didn't know all of these nuances. So you're saying that, okay, why is he against Anonymous for the Voiceless?
He made some video kind of insinuating that they were just after attention and money. He's done a lot of things like this, criticizing other activists, but one of the targets was AV, which is annoying because a lot of these activists, if he didn't criticize them, would align their values with him because he's an abolitionist. I don't know why he does these and says these things.
Hypothesize.
Jealousy. Maybe he feels he didn't get enough attention and AV gets too much attention. Maybe it makes him insecure about his own activism because it goes against, some of the things Gary says he disagrees with. But it's okay to disagree, but to start blocking people and being authoritarian about it, I think it's nuts.
That's the first thing that I thought of too, is this jealousy thing. And the only reason I think about it is because the same thing is happening, in Montreal. When I was going up and up and up and going to this 1.7 million followers on my TikTok account, I was consistently trying to tell people, get on TikTok. Like, come on, join me. You're going to get as many followers. Go in my comment section, comment, and people are going to follow you. I will duet you. I was duetting all these people. I was using the hashtag vegans supporting vegans, and they were just like, what's this TikTok thing? And they didn't come. And I was going up and up and up, and I was consistently saying, guys, come. And then when I got up there, then it was like, I don't know if it's weird. It's like a jealousy thing. It's like, guys, like, I'm just the same as I was before. I just happen to have all these followers. Like, I just happen to, and it's ridiculous, this jealousy thing. See, I've always supported any activist, and I still do now. I even support and share videos of people who hate me. They just despise me. But it's like, to me, I look at the content of the message. If they are filming something like undercover footage, or they're talking about saving these animals or support this charity, I'll be like, okay. And I share their stuff because I separate myself from the person and the message. And I think that we need to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Someone says, I believe Gary criticizes AV because they focus on factory farms and cruelty and do not focus on the moral imperative. Well, that's not even true. AV completely focuses on the moral imperative of veganism and the spread abolitionist vegan message. And if that is true, it's in addition to the other stuff he said about AV. Being attention seeking and all this other.
Yeah, I mean, AV at first AV, and for those of you who don't know, is Anonymous for the Voiceless. And what they had on their shirts was animals, health, environment, or something like that, right? And then they took away the environment, they took away the health, and they just had, basically, we're talking about the animals only. That's what Paul Bashir was saying. And what's his partner's name? Paul and Asal.
Yeah, I know Paul personally. Like, he's 100% for the animals. Like, there's nothing that's his drive. That's his motive. It's ridiculous. A lot of these claims.
Yeah. Now, does he live? Gary is friends with Paul and Asal, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a friend of mine as well. He's like one of my closest friends.
Well, wait, Gary, which Gary?
Yurovsky.
Oh, Yurovsky.
We're talking about Yurovsky.
Oh, Gary Yurovsky is friends with Paul and Asal. Can somebody help me to contact Gary Yurovsky? I want to talk to him.
He doesn't want to talk to anyone.
I know. I just became vegan when he wrote that big thing and dropped out. And I was like, no. And I was like, who's going to replace him? I was just eating my vegan popcorn, like everybody else, just, doing my little thing on TikTok. I'm sorry, on Facebook, spinning around in circles with the same people. And I kept looking like, who's the next leader? Who is this? Because Gary was so inspirational to me, Gary Yurovsky. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to be as badass and stir up the shit as he did because I don't see anybody else. So I just threw myself into TikTok and just hoped that he would resurface. And I'm just waiting for other people to take over more because I could use a rest, honestly.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah. And that vegan couple met him and said he was great. They went to his house in Detroit.
Yeah. With Erica, his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I showed a video recently on YouTube where he calls it weird. They're talking about speciesism and using words like to, call somebody a bitch should actually not be a compliment. It's just a dog, a female dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was calling his wife a bitch. Hey, bitch. She's like, oh, thank you for the compliment, honey, or something like that.
When he was online.
Sorry?
Oh, when he was online, this was how I became friends with him. I used to ask him like ethical questions for like guidance and like, oh, is it okay to buy this? Or is this, what do you think of this person? My friend who said this, and he'd be like, he's a fucking idiot or something. Like, I think if I didn't have that guidance from Gary, I wouldn't be as confident as I was like now about animal rights because we had a lot of contact in those years that he was online because he was very active on Facebook and would email each other and stuff. And just having that voice that was like, never ever back down, never ever like be pushed around with this. And then that just like fostered something in my brain just to tell people to go fuck themselves if they don't like what you're doing. Like, we're in the right, they're in the wrong. There's no, there's no nuances here with animal cruelty.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I came up with that sentence. Like, why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? And I wrote it on a shirt and I did some skits with it, and like he was a big inspiration for me. And so it's cool.
He's a legend.
I sell those, by the way. I have like a merch store. So if anyone wants to buy a why the fuck aren't you vegan yet shirt?
I kind of want one, to be honest. I might buy one after this.
Yeah, go for it. Cool. So Bite Size Vegan helped me so much. Yes, that's another one. Bite Size Vegan. Whatever happened to her?
I'm not sure. She was good friends with Gary as well. I don't know what she's up to these days, just because I haven't had time to keep track. But she made amazing like education content. Yeah, and she had a good interview with him. And I met her actually at a conference in Virginia, an animal rights conference. And just in passing, I told her, I liked her work and whatever. I know she was in a video of mine. I wrote a song and I asked her to hold up a poster with the lyrics. So that's actually on my site. Okay.
on my YouTube. On my YouTube, it's a video called "Open Up the Cages."
I'll
Yeah.
have to check it out.
Okay. What else do we got here? Do you know who Dream is exactly? I don't know who Dream is. Dream is some sort of a computer person who has millions of followers. And there's apparently a little image that's supposed to be Dream, a little character on TikTok, little green guy with a smiley face emoticon or whatever you call it. And no, I don't know who Dream is. I've never met Dream. I just was using that to try to get to Dream, to get all of the YouTubers who are gamers to talk about veganism. And that's why I did a video about Tommy Innit and talking to him and this guy, George Not Found, and to Dream. And so I succeeded. I got them all to talk about veganism. The rest is up to all the other vegans. I cannot do everything. They kicked me off TikTok, but I got the conversation going. So everybody else, keep going. Keep giving them the 100 clicks.
That sucks that your TikTok, you had like 2 million views or something. That was crazy.
Yeah, can you get me back on? Can we make a legal case against this? Because that is just wrong.
So what was the rationale, and what video did they say they had a problem with, or was it all your videos?
They never even told me. They never sent me anything, and they never gave a warning. Like everyone else, like Vegan Booty and people like that who got, I know. And do you know who Deep Vegan is on TikTok?
No.
Anyway, there's other people, and they got their channels removed. Even Vegan Teacher UK, and then they just got back up. So I don't know. I say I don't know, but I do know. I mean, I don't know the reason, but I know how it happened.
Yeah,
I was just a target, right? There's a bunch of 13-year-olds who have nothing else to do, so they would spam every single one of my videos. I would put a video of Bella, and they would report it by the thousands because they all have these Discord groups, and they're like, ban that Vegan Teacher Discord group. Let's go in. Next video she posts, 10,000 of us will tell TikTok that it's nudity. So they put my videos on hold, and then someone looks at them and go, it's just a dog eating dog food. So they would put it back, right?
Yeah.
Like, damn, let's keep going. The next one, violence, they would put, right? Violence, I'm eating an apple. Like, so they just kept doing this. I think at some point TikTok was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to find out a real reason, and I want my account back. And maybe a lawyer will help me get my account back. Maybe.
Have you tried appealing? You've obviously written to them and been like,
I have appealed, and I've written to them, but they never wrote me back a reason.
They're just, these companies just have way too much power now, big tech, and that can take it away, and they can just do whatever. And the whole thing needs to be regulated a lot differently.
Cancel culture. We don't want to hear your message. So bye, flush. It's a shame because the animals suffer. And I think that there will be people years from now when they become vegan who will come to me, because they still do now. They come to me and they say, I'm so sorry that I was mean to you. I am so sorry that I kept spamming you all these meat emojis, and I'm vegan now because I kept watching, and I became vegan. And I think that people will be really sorry that they took me off TikTok, because honestly, TikTok is a bit of a free-for-all. There are so many kids there. Like, do you know how it works, Patricia? Are you on TikTok or?
I'm on this sometimes. I don't really post or anything, but I know what it is. I know how it functions.
So there's duets, right?
Yeah.
So what a duet is like, for anybody who doesn't know TikTok, is I do a little video, like a 15-second video or something, and somebody does a duet of it. So mine's on one side and then theirs on the other. The amount of crazy shit I saw, like kids that were like 13 years old would literally pull their pants down and show me their penises. That was their duet. It's like, where are your parents? What are you doing? Like some kids that had autism, or just regular kids who were just trying to be, they have no parental guidance, or they would have a gun. Like literally I had people who would show guns. They were walking around their house with a gun. They would film it. Like in other words, here's the message to that vegan teacher. I'm going to blow your brains out. That's what they did. It was insane. I mean, and the amount of, there's no policing there. Like there wasn't anyway. I don't know what it's like now. I think what happened is they kind of woke up to the policing of it. Like we got to do something. And then they went crazy and they just were like, banning all kinds of people just randomly. Like there's no reason for an animal rights activist to be banned. And hopefully they've leveled it out now, because I know here in Montreal, there's somebody who is an animal rights activist and has about 330,000 followers. And he's going up, and I'm so happy about it because I encouraged him to go on TikTok. And I encourage people to go there because of the way the algorithm is. It's amazing to do animal rights activism.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to get more into TikTok because I don't know. It's very short and very like 2-second clip that doesn't really match with like my kind of content. So, but I need to find a way to make it work because everyone keeps telling me to get on TikTok and start making content on there. So I should give it another go. But it's really messed up. But
you can talk fast. So 15 seconds.
True. Done.
You should totally be on TikTok. I want to support you in any way possible. You should be on TikTok and create like get some sort of an image there, like that vegan lawyer, and wear your black there and exactly how you are now and just give people shit. Give people shit. You should be vegan. Why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? That's it. Like, it'll be amazing. Like, you're going to sell merch. Like, you're going to zoom up. You're going to be like the Prime Minister of Australia.
I don't want to be the PM. ScoMo can do that.
How do you feel about leeches, mosquitoes, etc.? Blood-sucking animals. Just wondering. What do you think?
I don't like them. I'm not going to kill them, though. I'm not going to kill something just because I don't like it. Oh, it bothers me.
Right. But if they're attacking me, if I have a mosquito that's on me and I can get rid of it without hurting it, him or her, I will. Yeah. And what I tell people is, like, if you have a mosquito in your bedroom, let's say, rather than waking up and trying to swat it, just turn the light on in your hall and just like the mosquito will go towards the light and you'll be able to sleep. And then in the morning, just open your door or whatever. Like
I just meant to derail. Like 98% of animals killed on this earth are in the meat, egg, and dairy industries. We're not so concerned about mosquitoes right now.
Exactly. Yeah. If there's a mosquito on me and I'm gonna, intuitively, if you feel something, go like that and kill the mosquito. I'm not gonna be crying about it. Like,
right.
It's attack. Like, anybody who comes and attacks me, if Patricia is visiting me here in Montreal and she starts trying to take my blood, I'm gonna fucking deck her too. Like, I'm not like, no, So that's that.
Did we have anything else on the agenda that we wrote down that you wanted to discuss?
we were all over the map. We were doing the second batch of 12 rules for life, and the other thing we were doing is finishing off. So we did Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Candace, Sam Harris.
Dan a little bit.
We did him a little bit. Yeah. Do you want to just tell a little bit about the background of Sam Harris, like just for people who've never?
Yeah. So he's a philosopher and a neuroscientist. So most of you know, but for those of you who don't, a neuroscientist is a scientist that studies the human brain. So it's like one of the most difficult, areas of science to get into. Very smart guy. He runs a podcast called Making Sense. Used to be called Waking Up Podcast. Now it's called Making Sense Podcast.
Okay, I'm just saying the first time you said it sounded like making sex. I'm just saying.
Making sense.
I'm just saying.
He's talked about sex before.
I'm just saying that you should maybe just slow it down just a little bit. Okay.
So his podcast is called the Making Sense Podcast, and he's written a number of books. The ones I've read is The Moral Landscape. And he's basically making the argument that science can determine moral values because of the way we understand the human brain. And he says that morality exists in the brain and is realized through consciousness. Therefore, there must be scientific truths to understand about it. And that way he argues for objective morality. So not everything is subjective. He thinks that the most important questions of life can be determined through science. And that's what I love about him. And recently he's been making content that could be considered pro-animal rights, which is great.
Let's hope he does become vegan. Go Sam! Go Sam!
Go Sam!
Go vegan!
Go Sam! Go vegan!
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll make a 15-second TikTok song. I mean, look, there's lots of, you know what? There's lots of Sams who are vegan, who like in the world, right? It could be Sam this, and then other people could use it for other people.
Yes.
I should make TikTok songs with everyone's name in it. Like, you know, anybody name somebody in your life that you want to be vegan who isn't vegan yet. Just a first name.
I'm trying to think of people that I know.
Anybody, Sarah, John, Mike, whatever. You know, I'm going to write TikTok songs, you know.
Let's go with David. That's a very common name.
David?
Yeah.
David. Okay. Yeah. David, you should be vegan, David. You should be vegan, David. Why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? Go, David. Be vegan. Yeah. There's a 15-second song, and anybody can use it. All they do is just film their food and then tag their friend David. Bam. What?
You should do a song about all the thinkers that we spoke of today, like Candace had banned in a conservative one.
Yeah.
And then maybe talk about abortion, like you stick up for unborn babies but kill animals or something.
Yeah. Okay, off camera after this, like we're gonna talk. We're gonna brainstorm. Like we're gonna do something. We are gonna we're gonna stir up the shit and somehow get into their world. You know, we'll do a music video, but I will be behind the scenes because nobody wants to look at my ugly ass face. But you
stop saying that. Stop saying that. It makes me so uncomfortable.
Well, I don't give a shit about your uncomfortableness. I'm talking about animals. We want to do what's best for the animals. All right. So you should be the face of defending the animals. I'll be behind the scenes. Okay. I'll be like, psst, here's the lyrics to the song. Here's the song. Now you sing. By the way, can you sing?
No, I can't. But I have a friend who's a very good activist who can sing. Her name's Sonia C. She's done songs before, and she's working on her album at the moment. She did an animal rights song called Dream.
Okay, cool. Tell her to do TikTok songs.
Yeah, she's done. She's been on TikTok. She's been getting quite good reviews.
Okay, what's her name? I'm gonna write it down.
Sonia C. She's my best friend.
How do you spell her last name?
SAE.
Sounds
she's got
familiar.
Her social media is quite large. Like her Instagram's like 20,000 followers. Her latest TikTok got over 100K views. I don't think it was vegan related, but she does vegan content as well, and she's very good.
That's great because I'm not the best singer, but I just like to invent. I like to write songs. That's what I like to do.
Songs are so funny though. They're so funny.
My songs?
Yeah, like even just the one you posted the other day with the dogs. And it's like, so we don't have to, I don't know. It's just so in your face. I love them.
Yeah. I kind of miss TikTok. I've been doing stuff still on there, but they keep taking down my accounts. But it was a great forum for me, you know. But anyway, you know, there's by the way, there are other apps. One of them is called Glitch. That these vegans are trying to start this app called Glitch with no censorship. So I'm gonna see what that's all about.
Hopefully that takes off because censorship is such a huge issue.
Yeah,
it's getting really fucking annoying.
It's going to be, you have to be 18 and over though. You have to like prove it. They're literally going to be gatekeeping, like photo ID or something like I don't know how they're going to do that. It's a lot of people. They're going to have to go in slow, and then you're going to have to, if you want special content, you're going to have to pay for it, like 25 cents for whatever to see something, or you know what I mean? Like it's something that they're working on. But if there's no censorship, it could be cool. It could be interesting. Yeah.
I'm glad to see these other platforms coming up as an alternative to the big social media platforms, because I can just see it getting from bad to worse with like the bias and censorship that's happening.
Yeah. Oh my God, Patricia, it's been an hour and 48 minutes. I don't know. Do we have anybody still here? Like, is everybody left? How many? Is there like 5 people watching? Oh my God.
How can you tell who's in here? Because I can see the comments, but I can't see how many people.
No, actually there is a place on the top of the screen above my head. I see 117 people.
Oh, I can't see that. It might just be the creator can see it.
Maybe. Anyway, 100. Just ask me anytime. 117 people. So we managed to have like some people still awake and watching. I don't know. What time is it over there in Australia? You're the next day or something?
Yeah, so it's Sunday. It's getting to be noon 12 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Because for us, what time is it? Yeah, it's 9. See my clock. Well, it's 9:50 at night on Saturday.
Oh, well. Thanks
You
for spending
guys
Saturday night with me.
You guys are into the future.
Somewhat. Well, was
Yeah.
there anything else before we maybe wrap it up? Or
We should wrap it up.
was one talk about?
What's this one?
Oh,
You
we
want
keep talking, I don't mind.
Yeah, let's just you know what? Let's go past 2 hours. I've never done it that long. And then we'll stop. Do you know why?
Whatever you
Because
want.
I have to pee so badly. So we're gonna have to. I'm like under the
You just
table.
want to go
Like,
pee and then come back? You just want to go and come back?
like you think you can run the show without me? Huh?
Sure. I can answer this question.
No, this whole show is gonna fall apart if I go pee. You're on. You talk, I'll go pee.
So we got a question here. Why is BLM being deleted? Please don't take my comment down. I'm just wondering why that is being blocked. Well, I can't really answer that question. So maybe she was right that I can't run the show without her. What was your comment? Maybe you can post it again and I can search for it. Because it doesn't. I mean, I've only just met Katie, but she doesn't seem like the type to block, especially something like a comment on BLM. So what was the comment? Let me know, let me know. Maybe I'll just read some of the comments here. Thank you for being vegan. Gary Roski's speech has made a lot of people vegan. I really like it and I recommend non-vegans watch it. What do you think about it? I love Gary's content. He's a good friend of mine. And I've rarely ever disagreed with much of what he says that I could think of anyway. How do you feel about people who actually help rebreed animals to repopulate their species? I'm curious, sorry. Depends on what demographic of animal it is and how it's being operated. Like, I'd have to look at a specific example. I'm not against helping animals in that way. It just depends how it's being done. I want to be vegan, but my family won't let me. I've tried, but my family hates me. What should I do? Depends on how old you are. Maybe you can just get a job when you're 16 and move out and then become vegan.
Hi, I'm back. Did you miss me? Yes. Okay, another question. Sorry, how do you feel about people actually help rebreed animals to repopulate their species?
I answered that while you were gone, but you probably have a different answer.
What did you say? Sorry.
Oh, I just said it depends on the situation, but I'm not inherently against that.
Okay. Yeah, it depends on. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It depends on what's been done.
Yeah. What's this? Please read my oops. Thanks. Duck. Okay. How do you feel about Isel? Do you know who that is?
A couple of years ago, this bald, really creepy guy, I had this really weird interaction. If it's the same person, then yes. If it's someone else, then no.
A bald, creepy guy. Okay. Yes, Isel Maynard or something like that. He's vegan. And it's interesting you say creepy because I happen to know that there are some people who like him. And I have trouble following him. He did a video about that vegan teacher at one point, and I couldn't figure out whether he was trying to help me or not. It was so vague. And
he's got issues.
What?
I think he's got issues.
You think he has issues?
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of him. He's What would you recommend to someone to become a new animal rights activist? What do you think?
I think learn as much as you can and speak as much as you can. And don't be afraid.
Yep. I agree. I mean, I don't even know what else to add to that. I was going to say, which is in your last sentence, don't be afraid, is to be brave. And that's one of the songs I sing. Be brave, be vegan.
And the minute
You have to be brave because you're going to constantly have people challenging you. There's vegan phobia in the world. You might suffer from dystopia, the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world. And you got to be brave every day and defend the animals with your voice, your daily choices.
Yeah, I mean,
can I ask you? I'll let you finish, but I want to ask you a question.
No, go.
Okay. Yeah, because you seem like you were hesitating for a bit. But okay, so on your tombstone, when you die, assuming, you know, it's an expression. I know you probably are probably want to be cremated or whatever. Tombstones are so, you know, ancient history. But anyway, on your tombstone, what is the worst thing they could say about you? What would be the thing that you would like? I don't want to be known for as that.
Coward.
Did you just say coward?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can I adopt you? Because that's exactly, to me, that would be the worst insult, is to call me a coward. I just would be, I don't want to be a coward. See, that's why, that's it. I don't know anybody else who came up with the same answer as me, ever. You know, it's always like the worst insult, like, I don't know, something else. Like, I wasn't nice enough. I don't know.
Who says that? I would defriend someone for saying that. What a loser.
Oh God. Okay, we have like 3 minutes left, Patricia. That's it. Watch Dominion Earthlings Seaspiracy. Agree. Eyeball. Yes, I agree with the eye, which is the watch. And then there's a whale. There's a baby chick. There is a cow and a pig. Yes. Try challenge 22. I agree with everything there. Thank you for being here. Perfect. Anything else? Sis. How do you feel? Oh, yeah, we saw that already. Oh, I didn't refresh my comments or something. I missed a bunch. I'm sorry. Patricia?
Would you consider most animals your friends? Just wondering. Lol. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's not really about friendship. It's just about not like holocausting other animals. But yeah,
animals are friends. They're not food or property. Animals are just the same as you and me.
There you go. That's the more vocal answer.
There you go. Or if you don't even care about animals, you really don't give a shit about them, still, you might not give a shit about your neighbor, but it doesn't mean that you want to kill your neighbor or watch your neighbor be killed. Like, you don't even have to like or love animals. You just have to agree. You just have to agree that they have a right to autonomy, to live, to freedom. Yeah?
You just need a brain. You just need a fucking brain to understand.
I don't know. Okay, yeah.
It's just one thing before we end is what I've noticed with like kids or anyone really is just it all comes down to like they just care what people think so much, and it's like why? Like they're eating dead corpses, like they're eating corpses of other animals. Why do you give a shit about what these people think? Because anytime I even start to think about caring what people think, I just remind them myself that they're literally eating dead bodies, and that's not the sort of opinions that from people that I care about.
Yeah, I hear you.
Reminder.
You got it. I hear you, girl.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes till midnight, and we turn into a frog, or no? What is it? We lose the slipper, Cinderella. What happens?
The pumpkin. The carriage turns into a pumpkin. She loses a slipper.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna turn into pumpkins. That sounds vegan.
Make some
Do you like Angry Birds? I don't know what Angry Birds are. It's the birds taking back their eggs.
I think it used to be a game that people used to play. That game's old.
I feel like I heard that. How's your dog? Bella was actually in my live today that I did earlier on. This is actually my second live of the day. She just appeared and just wanted some food, and she's doing great. She eats a dog food that I get from a company called Vigor, VGRRR.com. You can find it in the link below in the, what's it called? The description. Vigor, VGRRR.com. Just get some vegan dog food. Why pay for murder if you don't have to? I sound like Ben Shapiro, doing an ad. Now, if I could just make some money.
One more thing with Ben Shapiro is that someone did ask him recently whether he was being morally inconsistent, and he said he was. And he was like, 100 years from now, we're going to look back at murdering animals, how we murder humans. And then the person's like, have you thought about doing anything about that? And then he's like, yeah, I agree. There's good arguments for. So he's kind of in the same boat where Sam Harris was previously before he made that connection. So it seems like they all admit that it's the right thing to do, and they're going against their own principles.
Yeah, but it's just so crazy. That's why I want you to see this video, this 1 minute and 40-second video that I told you about in the day in the life, the year, because that's the thing about Shapiro. And then he becomes an asshole, and he cooks the whole turkey in his kitchen.
Yeah, I know.
Literally, he could have just ignored it and not done that video. Did you see that?
Yeah,
like, let's just make sure it's dead. Like, oh my God.
I remember because I commented and I said, and this was one of the things that Instagram threatened to ban my account, because I said,
threatened to ban my account.
What's up?
Me too. They threatened to ban my account.
I know. Because he's like, conservative fanboys all like mass reported me for asking him, don't you think it's a bit outdated to shove your hand up a dead turkey's ass? That's what I said. And then it's like, time to like reconcile your principles, blah, blah, blah. And then it got a lot of traction. And then after that, Instagram was like, we might delete your account because of reporting, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I definitely saw that post. And that can happen, like, because my Instagram account is not big, but if enough people, with more than 50 or something, people report you, then they'll take it seriously, even though there's nothing wrong with asking that question. Like, it's a dead bird. You're shoving your hand up a dead bird's ass. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's been 2 hours. You know what? We're going to talk later. We're going to be continued.
Yeah, for sure.
There is a lot to talk about, clearly. Now, let me just see if here's my off button, my end broadcast button. We're going to end by saying, please follow That Vegan Lawyer. That's her name here on YouTube. If you're watching, all you 117 people, if you're not subscribed to my channel, do that first, of course. But then, immediately after, subscribe to her channel and subscribe twice as much. Because
thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, it's been a pleasure. And I really look forward to doing another one of these and brainstorming with you about how we can penetrate this conservative movement. And whether it's a joint channel or we just do these more often, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I love your activism. I love everything you do. I hope you get your TikTok back. We'll chat soon.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Patricia.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. And broadcast.